Yes, sir. I go by the name of Priddy Ugly for anybody who doesn't know it. Mr. Yes, sir. Mr. Goat. Mr. Egypt. Mr. You Don't Know Me Yet. And we're out here with Blacklight magazine. This is part 1. Yes, sir. Yeah, had to include that. How's Priddy Ugly feeling at the moment? Elated, bro. My spirits is high. I'm in the best space I've been in a very long time. Emotionally, mentally, artistically, independent, so it's great. Released so much content this year, like I said, like 7 music videos this year already, all independent. You know, and ironically, like not a lot of them are playing on TV, but you know how the game goes, it's okay. But otherwise, I'm good, bro, you know, really, really good. Yo, how does it feel to be married and being a father? I think where the marriage part is concerned, yes sir, it's real. You guys can see it, and I think I got like the swaggiest male ring, you know, in the history of life. It's super beautiful, bro. Me and my partner have been together 10 years already, so it doesn't feel like we're a married couple, because I feel like I felt married for the past 10 years, you know. And I think right now is really dope because you get the freedom to really, you know, spread your wings. I felt like that's why like there's been like so much, you know, like just work and like progress, even like personally, like in our lives, since Lobola negotiations started last year or the year before. A lot of things have been smoother, you know. We eventually moved out together. We're in our own space. I have my own studio now. I can create whenever I want to. It's not about hustling guys and friends, you know. So it's just like a great sense of independence. When I say independence, not just like, yo, I'm a record label on my own. I'm doing it without the major label. I'm saying that like just like being in my own space, having my own studio, ownership of your music, your ideas, you know. So that's really the space that I'm in, and it's dope that I'm with a partner, you know, who allows me to dabble into these things, who supports me through it. We support each other. So like marriage life is like very, very dope. Not like what everyone else says it would be, you know, like going into our 3rd year of being a couple, people are like, okay, it's great now, but the 4th year is gonna be tough. Or the 7th year is gonna be crazy. Or when you move in together, you're gonna hate each other. Or when she falls pregnant, you're not gonna get jobs, you're not gonna, and none of that is happening, you know, God willing, you know, and just through the grace and the blessings of God. So to him, like genuinely all the glory. With that being said, with our personal project now, you know, our album was called DNA, and it had like a Black Adam and Eve on it. That's myself and Bontle. We just, you know, referring to ourselves as the first. You know, that's just a loose statement. Me and Bontle are big advocates for Africanism and being Africans and being from Africa and our African heritage. I've embraced it like a lot, with people seeing Egyptian symbols in my stuff, because my forefathers are from Egypt, you know. But just like genuine like ambassadors of like a new African narrative, where a black couple is concerned, black parents are concerned, black creatives, businessmen and women. In fact, I feel like how they impoverished us was by taking away the essence of the black family, removing the father from the home so he can go work in the city while the mother stays with the home. As a result, the kids are detached from the father, the mother's on her own, she's struggling. It's like, we're just really trying to change that narrative where it's like, we do things together. So that's how we're referring to ourselves as the first, hence Adam and Eve. Because with me, it's like, what you see is what you get. And I also realize that like, we live in a technological era now where people don't really get to really understand the next person. You only see what we decide to show you. And if you just take me from what you see on social media, you'll never know the true essence of who I am, because you won't go past the physical thing. And I realized that, like, and that's why even through my music I started becoming more transparent, speaking about where I'm from, adding more languages, more facets of myself. Like, I'm Angolan born, my mother's Angolan, my father Kemosoto. I never added any Portuguese in my music before. I never used to add Sotho in my music or Setswana at all. So it's just like, growing up, you realize, like I said, like we become more true to Africa and to who we really are. So, and I feel like as Africans, our core and what is gonna help us to build and to overcome a lot of things is our humility. And through a lot of struggles, through a lot of pain and hardships that we've been through, we've lost that humility, and that's why, like, we're separated by borders, and because of that we can't come together and build something great. You know, so I just felt like it's always just imperative, one, to be humble first, because like when you're humble, you are easy. It's easy for you to teach, and it's easy for you to be taught. Whether I agree with what you're saying or I don't agree with what you're saying, but if I humble myself and I listen to what you're saying, you know, I could understand your point of view and see where you're coming from. And that's what I've come to, you know, to notice with my fans. As the more I engage with them on a personal level, you know, a lot of times like fans come to me like, yo, can I take a picture? And I was like, yo man, let's have a conversation for 10 minutes instead. You know, and if you still want your picture, it's cool, but like, let's have a real interaction. And I just feel like then, outside of me trying to sell my music, but like, you'll buy into my music more because you can see that like behind this artist is a real person. And that's what the industry like kind of like, there's like a weird gray area there. People don't realize that artists are people, celebrities are this, and the normal people who the artists listen to are also people. So some artists don't treat their listeners and their audience like they're people. They like, you know, there's like a hierarchy. I am the superior, you're the inferior, and I'll treat you as such. And for me, I just feel like as human beings, like, we're all the same. I've learned not to nyata on anybody, because there are people who I thought were nobody, and not to say that I expressed that to them and I said you're nobody. It's just like, yo, I look at this guy and I'm like, damn man, I wish blessings upon your life, man. I wish you were in a better situation. 3 years from now, like, way more successful than I am, type situation, you know? When I met MT, he was like, I was driving a BMW in Tertiary and he was in Hillbrow. You know, met him at my Raza studio and he was just like, yo dude, you know, I look up to what you're doing, it's dope what you do. I didn't even know who he was, and I was just like, yeah, sure, what up? A year later, he became, you know, 2 years later, he became the biggest artist at that time, you know? So it's just like, you never know what position anyone can be in. You know, you don't know what position I may be in, you know? So, and the industry really works off of like relationships. Now the industry is shifted. It's not really even about your talent anymore. It's about how reliable are you? What can I gain from you? How can we benefit from each other, actually? It's not really about how dope you are. So it's like, just with that, I just realized that growing up, for you to actually just like be successful, you really need to engage with people more on a really personal level. And I really just want to do that with my fans. And ultimately, that's why my answers are very loud, but ultimately that's just why I've always wanted to remain very honest and very true in my engagement and through my music.